Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. I want you to meet the Bear Tracker 250. So this is a shaft drive, two-wheel drive, no four-wheel drive, all-terrain vehicle. It was part of that mega deal that I got into. Turns out I'm doing the books, and between the two go-karts and the motor, I paid like $400 or $500 for that stuff, and so that means, look at this, for a number, call it $400. So figure this was two, the Suzuki 125 was one, and the other guy was one. Maybe I got a little more than that into it for carburetors, call it 500. So call this three, one and one then. So let's say I have $300 out on this thing, give or take a little bit. So this is what it looks like. It is more or less complete, and I wanted to put everything on it so I could see what I have and what I don't have. And just quickly, front to back, I mean, the tires aren't great, the back tail light's broken. Looks like somebody went through the trouble of painting the frame. Seat actually looks really pretty decent. It's got the decals on it. The plastic's intact, though it's loose. Somebody at some point took halfway decent care of this machine. It did have an air filter in it. It did not come with a gas tank for some reason. I don't know if this thing has a metal tank that likes to rust out, or if somebody borrowed it to put it somewhere else. The carburetor is not correct. It has a Honda 250 carburetor on it. It's a nice carb. It's a Kevin. And I did, semi-rebuild it and put it back in. There were a few things I didn't like. A couple of pieces that were a little tweaked in there and so forth. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with exactly that, the carburetor. I mean, how's that for a throttle? So let's get right on to that. So here's the carburetor and intake manifold I bought for the thing. I always like to tell you guys where I get my parts and approximately what they cost, because if anybody's trying to duplicate what I'm up to, right? So the carburetor was a little over $35. The intake manifold was, I don't know, $8, $7.65 or something like that. And that's what it looks like. And I did buy a throttle cable for it. It was $8. That came from China, and it took forever to get to me. The intake manifold that's on it, somebody kind of replaced this rubber thing with a rubberized hose so that they could put the 250 carb on it. When I go back to this carb, it won't go on. I also have to see what kind of air filter I want to put on it. I don't really want to go back to the whole box thing. I just as soon simplify it. So we're working our way through the carburetor change, and there's one little problem I ran into. This is obviously the new carburetor. See how this is the old pipe? Well, the pipe that came with it was just way too short. About a half an inch too short. Maybe a little more than that, 5/8. Which led me to a problem, given that the cable is already somewhat stretched. If one grabbed, a thumb full of throttle, the throttle was not going completely. Luckily, I was able to work this out. You kind of grab it by this raised area here with vice grips and very gently rock it. So I did manage to get it out. I managed to get the new one through and back in, and it all looks pretty good. I even managed to save the insert. Right now I have the cable, outside cable, to its maximum length. In other words, I made it so that the inside cable is as short as possible. So I'm getting full throttle, but it feels like at some point when it stretches, I might be losing some of that. Generally speaking, I'm not a full throttle kind of guy, so it shouldn't be that big a deal. Here's the intake manifold that came off, the rubber booty that they kind of had jammed onto the two of them and all. This 250X carburetor, it's a Kevin, I'm not sure what the number is for the intake. This one is a little bigger than the one that I put on there. That's probably why they took the rubber bushing off of this and went through all this trouble. So this one is a little bigger. I probably could have forced it on to the other one, but quite honestly, the OEM carburetor looks halfway decent, or the OEM clone carburetor looks halfway decent, so we're going to go with that. Okay, tubers, the carburetor is on. I got the jump pack on. I got an official, see that? I got me a neutral light. And let's see what this puppy does. I put gas in the carburetor here. Choke. I don't know, what does one do? Pull that out or push it in? I'm pushing it in for now. Well, it's even going to idle. You gotta love that. So I got, what do I have? High. That's low. That's high. Well, I got them both. They look pretty bright. So I'm thinking, see how that went on? So I think she's charging. Nice. Especially, let me turn those lights back on. Yeah, I think it's charging. I'm going to let it run out of gas. Yeah, but, oh, I even have a tail light. I got no smoke. This thing's looking mighty positive for approximately a $300 machine, plus the carb, plus the intake manifold. I'll probably have a little over 400 in it. Well, I got to do a battery too. So I'll have all of 400 into it. So what do I have left? To take it out for a ride, I have to smash some kind of gas tank on it. The gas tank they had on it before, this guy, it sits too tall and it doesn't allow the plastic to sit right. Given that this whole area is hidden, I can really kind of put any kind of gas tank I want on there. I would just like the top of it to fit through the hole, and I'd also like to get a fuel filter and a valve on there. Just a couple of things that are wise to do. This bike is actually a pleasure to work on. This all-terrain vehicle is a pleasure because you got plenty of room here. The frame's nice and wide. You can work on the carburetor if you got to mess with the valves. I mean, they're right here on top. I mean, this thing, you get the gas tank and the top piece of plastic off, the gas tank cover off, and this really is just a pleasure to work on. Okay, I'm gonna continue to chip away at it, and what I'd like to do is get this thing to the point where we could take it for, you know, a little spin, and then we'll wrap up today's videos. But yeah, let's see what else we could get done. Maybe I have an air filter in the Hoard that'll go on there, and you know, we'll see how much we got to mess around with the gas tank, whether we're going to do it for now a little bit temporary, or if maybe it'd be easy enough I can put it on there permanent. Once the gas tank is mounted permanently and I get a battery into this thing, it's really a good to go machine. Okay, I guess it's time for a ride. I kind of pushed it out here. You can see the gas tank I rigged up. It doesn't have an air cleaner on it. I went through the hoard. I found a battery that seems to have a little charge on it. So let's see what we could do. Boy, this is up high. Green light. That's a good sign. And well, excuse the camera. Sounds a little rich. I'm not quite sure about this carburetor. I might understand why they put the season on it. Might have to take it apart and figure out what it's doing. Tearing up the lawn. Yeah, it's kind of rich. Hopefully the wind isn't too bad and you can hear me. Yeah, you hear it. It's perky enough. Yeah, I'm not sure about that slide in and slide out. Generally speaking, I prefer butterfly choke. I don't really care much for the Richin circuit choke. I haven't been out back in a while. Around the house is pretty soft. I imagine it's even worse back here. Let's hope this thing doesn't die. It'll be a long push home. Back at first. Yeah, I come out this time of year, I find all the trees that have kind of fallen down and they're in the way. Generally speaking about this bike, it's got me riding way up on the saddle, which I really don't like. I normally prefer to sit lower. And this is why. You know, low branches become a pain in the neck. Yeah, it's all pretty soft back here. But doing a full lap is a good sign. Yeah, once again, you see the low hanging branches that make this texture. Yeah, I haven't been back here in a while either. I'll take a little ride. We're up at the second. This time of year is also good because you can kind of see into the brush a little bit, see anything that's going on. See if somebody abandoned an all-terrain vehicle there years ago and it's just waiting for me to discover it. So anyway, obviously this thing is running. Sounds good. I don't have any bad noises. This is kind of the mud pit I'm coming up to here. So far it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it's still a little frozen. I can feel it sliding. I don't know if you guys can. reverse on this thing is a little difficult. Oh man, don't run out of gas. Oh man, ran out of gas. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the ride. Maybe I could tilt the tank or something, get a little more down into the carburetor. Anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember, keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.